Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman, and we are coming to you from our studios at the Capital Region International Airport. We're going to run just a little south of here to Jackson, Michigan. We're going to spend a little time with Jessica Rollins. She is a multi-unit owner of Sylvan Learning Centers. And Jessica, it's good to have you on. And let me start by congratulating you on you being a recipient of 50 Companies to Watch.
Thank you. We've had some pretty amazing growth. We started with 3 locations in 2017, and 8 years later, we are up to 11.
Oh my goodness. That must also mean there's a market need for what you're doing, right?
There is absolutely. I think that this is pre-pandemic. Students are really struggling to keep up with just the fast-paced changing world that is education,
Yeah.
and the need for partners to come in and support that is truly great.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. The pandemic really put a dent in progress. Can you just reacquaint everybody with what Sylvan Learning Centers are?
I can, yeah. So Sylvan is a tutoring global franchise. We provide academic programs for students starting at preschool all the way through adult learners. We have some college students, some adults wanting to go back and hone in on literacy skills. And so we can customize programs for individuals no matter what their age or grade range is. So reading, writing, math, study skills, we kind of run that full gamut.
Well, I have to tell you, Jessica, that was a good update for me too, because you've expanded your borders that you service, which is really good. Congratulations. So, tell me a
Thank
little
you.
bit about what it means to get this Michigan Celebrates 50 Companies to Watch award.
It's really interesting because I have a lot of great peers in the business network that have encouraged me to apply and have helped us get nominated. And you don't realize that growth is happening yourself until you actually really sit down and fill out the application. So part of that application process is really reflecting on why do you feel you're deserving? What growth have you seen over the last 8 years? And for us, because that growth was steady and consistent, growth was always one of our top 5 annual goals and expansion. And you just don't realize it when you're in the thick of things as a business owner until you sit down for a moment and reflect on what have I really accomplished over the last 8 years. So I think if nothing else, it was a way for me to reflect, even if we weren't honored by being one of the recipients, on what we've been able to accomplish.
That's interesting because we've always said the process sometimes is more important than the award. And
Yeah, a hundred
that's
percent in this case.
That's a perfect example. So let's talk about what happens with students that come in, and I guess we're talking about traditional students mostly. When they fall behind in school, the ramifications, they go way beyond the academic space.
Yeah.
Talk about.
Yeah, middle school, I think, is one of my favorite examples. We often get middle schoolers in who are labeled as lazy, unmotivated, don't care about school. And we start out with an academic checkup to see where they're at academically. And we often find that these students are 2, 3, 4 years behind in their literacy or math skills. And so it's human nature to give up and get frustrated if you can't do something. I tell those parents, it's like you putting me in an engineering master's seminar, and I'm a visionary, and so I would get my phone out and start checking Facebook, right? But it doesn't mean I don't care. It just means that I'm not equipped with the ability to get through that class. And so what we can do is come in and customize a program that gets that student equipped to where they can be successful in that great classroom instruction that's happening in our schools.
Awesome. So you're a former classroom teacher, like I would assume many people involved in Sylvan are. What made you transition to Sylvan?
Yeah. So it's one of my favorite stories. I was teaching fourth grade, and I was going to be a fourth grade teacher the rest of my life. My master's degree is in educational psychology. I wanted to be a teacher since I was, 10. And my husband got deployed. We were no kids, just married. He got deployed to Iraq right at the start of Iraqi freedom. And I was going home and watching the news, which isn't healthy for any military spouses out there. They can understand that. And so I was looking for a night job, and someone recommended Sylvan. And so in the interview 23 years ago, she asked how long I thought I was going to stay. And I was only going to stay while he was deployed, which was about, 6, 7, 8 months. And 23 years later, I now own 11 locations. So the reality is, um, it's 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 my niche. In a classroom, our amazing teachers have grade level content that they have to teach. And at Sylvan, I can meet a kid where they're at and move them forward. So just a difference in philosophy that fits my personality a little bit better.
Well, it sounds like you made a good transition. Jessica,
Thank you.
you talk about, and we have literally 30 seconds left, partnering with schools
Yeah.
rather than being in competition with them.
Yeah, yeah. We'll say if you're teaching fourth grade and you have a student that's a non-reader or maybe is comprehending at a second grade level, you can't teach them fourth grade curriculum. And so what we'll do is get them up to that fourth grade comprehension level so that they can be successful on that great fourth grade content that you're teaching.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Jessica Rollins, multi-unit owner of Sylvan Learning Centers in Jackson, Michigan. 11, as a matter of fact. Jessica, thanks for spending time and keep up the good work.
Thanks for the opportunity.
All right. You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman. We'll be back with more.